Welcome to the 2017 McLaren 570S.
Bruce McLaren, the ingenious Kiwi with a flair for design, whose name lives on in the spirit of the car. Born to parents who owned a service station and workshop, McLaren was always close to motorsport. After restoring an old Austin with his father, McLaren entered his first hill climb. Now known was the young man who would become the winner of Grand Prix, the Can-Am Series, and the 24-Hour of Le Mans. The man was a good driver, but that was only a small part of his legacy. The focus of his legacy lives on with the second oldest active and most prestigious racing team in F1, after Ferrari. Bruce McLaren made his own team, the cleverly named McLaren Racing Team, where he was able to be his own boss, race his own cars, and test his own innovations. Bruce McLaren died at age 32 when his Can-Am car crashed on the Levant Straight at Goodwood on June 2nd, 1970. While testing his new M8D, the rear bodywork came adrift at speed. The loss of downforce destabilized the car, sent it spinning, and hitting a flag station. McLaren Racing, however, made sure the name would live on. They would go on to use his ingenuity and his determination to make a dynasty, winning World Constructor Championships and Driver Championships throughout 4 decades. They are the second most successful team in Formula One history after Ferrari.
The 570S is part of McLaren's Sports Series, their entry-level McLarens, which for them means 562 horses, twin-turbo V8. It's the same engine as the P1 and the 720S, with about 1 in every 3 parts being redesigned specifically for this car. The gearbox in this one is made by Graziani, which are known for making a lot of transmissions for heavy equipment as well as sports cars. McLaren has only made a handful of road cars before this one, and only one of them that's older than a kindergartner. The McLaren F1, the granddaddy of all of these. And while each one was exquisite in its own right, each one of them had a small pool of competitors. This one is going into a market that is not saturated, but it's a lot bigger. It'll be going up against the ultra reliable and properly exotic Audi R8, the charismatic Garages, the nerdy yet handsome i8, and the summa cum laude of all of these, the Porsche 911 Turbo S. One of the things that I have noticed is that whenever you're driving a McLaren, everyone knows you're driving a McLaren, even if they don't know that you're driving a McLaren, because this car just has that silhouette of a sports car. The mid-engine, the flying buttresses, the gaping air scoops on the side, just all of it. People stop and stare as you're driving by. That's not what McLaren was trying to go for with this one, as they did with the P1. No, this one is more for the daily grind. This one is for the everyday commuter. No, this is the one that you're supposed to drive to the track, race it, and then drive it back home. The dashboard is easy to read. The paddles go forward and backward, so really if you're lazy you can just use one paddle. This is the first time I ever drive a McLaren, and this is actually the most powerful vehicle I have ever driven. And in the end of the day, it feels different than what I expected it to. It feels familiar. You see, because I've driven many sports cars. I've never driven a supercar, and I thought this was going to be the first supercar that I was going to be driving. But in the end of the day, this feels familiar to me. This feels a lot like a sports car, but faster. When really I thought this was going to be more of a supercar, but one of the slower ones. And no, this is great. I really think I love this car.